Today, for the first time since her granddaughter's tragic death aboard a cruise ship, Eleanor Mitchell breaks her silence. The grandmother of Anna Kepner, who was found deceased in her cabin on the Carnival Horizon in March 2024, has decided to speak publicly about the loss that destroyed her family and the shocking truth about who was responsible. What she reveals about the warning signs, the family dynamics, and her final conversation with Anna will leave you questioning how such a tragedy could have been prevented. This is the story of Anna Kepner, told through the eyes of someone who loved her most and who carries the burden of answers that came too late. Anna Marie Kepner was just 18 years old when her life was cut short during what should have been a celebratory family cruise through the Caribbean. A recent high school graduate with dreams of studying marine biology, Anna had her entire future ahead of her. She was accepted to the University of Miami with a scholarship, excited to pursue her passion for ocean conservation. But on March 21, 2024, somewhere in the waters between Grand Cayman and Cozumel, Anna's life ended in violence inside cabin 8547. And the person responsible was someone she should have been able to trust completely. Before we dive into Eleanor's powerful testimony and the investigation that followed, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Here at True Crime Vault, we bring you cases that demand justice and voices that deserve to be heard. New investigations every week. Hit that like button and drop your thoughts in the comments as we explore this heartbreaking case. Your support helps us continue telling these important stories. Eleanor Mitchell is 72 years old, a retired school teacher from Jacksonville, Florida. Anna was her first grandchild, the daughter of her only child, Patricia. Eleanor and Anna shared a special bond that transcended the typical grandmother-granddaughter relationship. They talked on the phone several times a week, spent holidays together, and shared a love of nature and animals. Eleanor was one of Anna's biggest supporters, encouraging her academic pursuits and her dreams of becoming a marine biologist. When Anna got accepted to the University of Miami, Eleanor was the first person she called, even before telling her mother. In an exclusive interview conducted in her Jacksonville home, Eleanor sat in her living room surrounded by photographs of Anna at every age. Baby pictures, elementary school portraits, high school graduation photos, and prominently displayed on the mantel, a large framed photograph of Anna at the beach, smiling and holding a starfish, taken just months before her death. Eleanor's hands trembled as she held a tissue, her voice breaking multiple times as she shared memories of her granddaughter and the devastating reality of how Anna died. Eleanor began by describing Anna as a child full of light and curiosity. From the time she could walk, Anna was exploring, asking questions, wanting to understand the world around her. She would spend hours in Eleanor's backyard examining insects, collecting leaves, watching birds build their nests. When Anna was 5 years old, Eleanor took her to the Florida Aquarium in Tampa, and that visit changed Anna's life. She stood in front of the large ocean tank, mesmerized by the sharks and sea turtles swimming overhead. She asked the staff member giving a presentation so many questions that the woman finally gave Eleanor her card and told her to encourage Anna's interest because she clearly had a future in marine science. That prediction proved accurate. Throughout elementary and middle school, Anna excelled in science classes. She read every book about ocean life she could find. She watched documentaries about marine ecosystems. She volunteered at beach cleanup events and educational programs at local nature centers. By high school, Anna's focus had narrowed specifically to marine biology and ocean conservation. She was concerned about coral reef degradation, plastic pollution, and the impact of climate change on marine ecosystems. She wanted to dedicate her life to protecting these environments and the creatures that depended on them. Eleanor recalled Anna's excitement when she received her acceptance letter from the University of Miami. The university had a renowned marine biology program, and Anna had been dreaming of attending since she was in middle school. The partial scholarship she received made it financially feasible, and Anna spent months researching professors she wanted to work with, labs she hoped to join, and potential research topics for her future career. She had everything planned out, Eleanor said, her voice cracking. She knew exactly what she wanted to do with her life. She was going to make such a difference in the world. But Eleanor's voice grew heavy as she began to discuss the family dynamics that ultimately led to tragedy. Anna's mother, Patricia, had what Eleanor diplomatically called a complicated romantic history. Patricia married Anna's biological father, Gregory Kepner, when she was young. That marriage was troubled from the start, with Gregory struggling with substance abuse issues and financial instability. The marriage ended in divorce when Anna was just a toddler, and Gregory was largely absent from Anna's life after that, providing minimal support and seeing his daughter only sporadically. Several years later, Patricia married Robert Dawson, a man who Eleanor admitted she had reservations about from the beginning. Robert had a temper, a history of legal problems, and what Eleanor described as a mean streak that became more apparent as time went on. That marriage produced a son, Patricia's second child, and Anna's half-brother. But the household was chaotic and often frightening. Robert's behavior became increasingly erratic and violent. There were incidents of domestic violence that terrified both children. Police were called to the home multiple times. Patricia finally left Robert when his son was still young, obtaining a restraining order and full custody due to concerns about Robert's violent behavior and substance abuse. Eleanor supported her daughter's decision to leave that dangerous marriage, but she worried about the impact the trauma had on Patricia's son. The boy had witnessed violence, instability, and chaos during his formative years. He had been exposed to his father's rage and substance abuse. These early experiences, Eleanor knew from her years as a teacher, could have lasting psychological impacts. She hoped that with stability, therapy, and a safe environment, the boy could heal and thrive. But she always harbored some concern about how those early traumas might manifest as he grew older. When Patricia married Michael Dawson a few years later, Eleanor wanted to be supportive. Michael seemed like a good man, stable and hardworking. He treated Patricia well and seemed committed to being a positive presence for both Anna and her half-brother. Eleanor tried to believe that this blended family arrangement could work, that love and stability could overcome the challenges. But she admitted she had concerns about how Anna would adjust to living with a younger half-brother who had come from such a troubled background, and how that boy would adapt to yet another family configuration. In the first few years after Patricia married Michael, things seemed relatively okay. There were normal adjustments and occasional conflicts, but nothing that seemed alarming. Anna was focused on school and her extracurricular activities. Her half-brother was younger and dealing with his own adjustment issues. The family attended therapy for a while to help with the transition, and Eleanor hoped that with professional support, they would be able to create a healthy family dynamic. But as Anna entered high school and her half-brother approached his teenage years, Eleanor began to notice concerning changes. Anna started mentioning during their phone calls that her half-brother made her uncomfortable. At first, these comments were vague and minor. He was annoying. He followed her around. He asked too many questions about where she was going and who she was with. Eleanor initially dismissed these complaints as typical sibling irritation. She had taught middle school for 30 years and knew that siblings, especially teenagers, often got on each other's nerves. However, as months passed, Anna's complaints became more specific and more concerning. She told Eleanor that her half-brother went through her belongings when she wasn't home. She would come back to her room and find things moved, her drawers opened, her phone missing from where she had left it. When she confronted him, he would deny it or claim he was looking for something he had lost. Anna started locking her bedroom door whenever she left, but then she discovered him trying to pick the lock or waiting outside her door for her to come out. Anna also told Eleanor about incidents where her half-brother would show up places where she was with friends, even though he had no apparent way of knowing she would be there. She would be at a coffee shop studying with classmates, and he would walk in. She would be at a park with her boyfriend, and he would appear. Anna suspected he was tracking her location somehow, though she checked her phone repeatedly and couldn't find any tracking apps installed. The frequency of these coincidences was unsettling, and Anna felt like she had no privacy, no space that was truly her own. Eleanor remembered one particular phone call in February 2024, just weeks before the cruise, that stood out as a major warning sign. Anna called her grandmother crying, which was highly unusual because Anna was typically upbeat and positive even when dealing with stress. Through tears, Anna explained that her half-brother had been suspended from school for an incident involving Anna. A male classmate had been talking to Anna in the school cafeteria, just a friendly conversation about a biology assignment. Her half-brother approached the table and demanded that the other boy leave. When the boy said he was just talking to Anna about schoolwork, her half-brother became aggressive, shoving him and threatening him, telling him to stay away from his sister. The incident resulted in a suspension and mandatory anger management counseling. But what disturbed Anna most was the possessive, controlling nature of her half-brother's behavior. He wasn't protecting her from actual danger. He was trying to control who she talked to, who she spent time with, who was allowed in her space. Anna told Eleanor that she felt trapped, that she couldn't have a normal social life because her half-brother was constantly monitoring and interfering. She said she was scared of what he might do, scared of how his behavior was escalating. Eleanor asked Anna if she had talked to her mother about these concerns. Anna said she had tried multiple times, but Patricia kept dismissing her worries. Patricia would say that her son was just trying to be close to his sister, that Anna was being too sensitive, that she needed to be more understanding of his struggles, given his difficult early childhood. Patricia seemed unable or unwilling to recognize that her son's behavior had crossed the line from normal sibling interaction into something dangerous and obsessive. Eleanor deeply regrets not doing more at that moment. She should have called Patricia herself and insisted that action be taken to protect Anna. She should have offered to let Anna come stay with her in Jacksonville, removing her from the dangerous situation. She should have called the police or Child Protective Services to report her concerns. But she didn't want to overstep her bounds as a grandmother, didn't want to interfere in how her daughter was managing her household, didn't want to cause family conflict. "It's the biggest regret of my life," Eleanor said, her voice breaking. "I knew Anna was scared. She told me directly that she was scared, and I didn't do enough. I thought she would be safe until college started in a few months. I thought she could handle it until then, but I was wrong, and now she's gone." When Patricia announced the planned Caribbean cruise in March, Eleanor's immediate reaction was concern. She called Patricia and asked if it was really a good idea to go on this trip given the tensions in the household. Patricia insisted that the trip would be good for the family, a chance to bond and create positive memories before Anna left for college. She had already paid for the cruise and didn't want to waste the money. Eleanor then called Anna directly and asked how she felt about spending a week on a ship with her half-brother. Anna was honest with her grandmother. She wasn't happy about the trip. The idea of being on a cruise ship, essentially trapped with nowhere to go if things got uncomfortable, filled her with anxiety. But Anna felt she had no choice. Her mother had already made the plans and paid for everything. Patricia was excited about this family vacation, and Anna didn't want to disappoint her mother or cause family drama by refusing to go. Anna told Eleanor she would try to make the best of it, spend time exploring the ship on her own, participate in activities separately from her half-brother, and just count down the days until they returned home, and she could start preparing to leave for college. Eleanor spoke to Anna the day before the cruise departed from Miami. It was their last conversation, though neither of them knew it at the time. Anna called from her bedroom while packing her suitcase for the trip. She told Eleanor about the ports they would be visiting: Grand Cayman, Cozumel, and several other Caribbean destinations. She was excited about the opportunity to see marine life in the Caribbean waters, to maybe go snorkeling and observe coral reefs in person. Despite her anxiety about the family dynamics, Anna was trying to find things to look forward to on the trip. But Eleanor could hear the underlying stress in Anna's voice. They talked about Anna's upcoming college orientation, about the classes she was planning to take, about her hope to eventually pursue graduate studies in marine conservation. Anna sounded more animated when talking about her future plans than when discussing the cruise. At the end of the call, Anna said something that would haunt Eleanor forever. She said, "I love you, Grandma. I'll call you when we get back. Just 1 week. I can survive 1 week." That word, survive, stuck with Eleanor. Not enjoy, not get through, not endure. Survive. As if Anna was going into a dangerous situation rather than on a family vacation. Eleanor told her granddaughter she loved her too, and to be safe and to call if she needed anything at all. Anna promised she would, but that call never came, because Anna didn't survive that week. She didn't make it home. She didn't get to start college or pursue her dreams or live the life she deserved. Eleanor didn't hear from Anna during the cruise, which wasn't unusual. International phone service was expensive, and Anna was trying to save every penny for college expenses. Eleanor assumed that Anna was exploring the ship, enjoying the ocean views, and tolerating the family time as best she could. Eleanor went about her normal routine in Jacksonville, teaching her weekly adult education class, tending to her garden, looking forward to Anna's return. On the morning of March 22nd, Eleanor was in her kitchen making coffee when her phone rang. It was just after 9 a.m. When she saw Patricia's name on the caller ID, Eleanor smiled and answered, expecting to hear about how the cruise was going. But the sound that came through the phone was unlike anything Eleanor had ever heard. Patricia was screaming, sobbing, barely coherent. Eleanor couldn't understand what she was saying. She kept asking Patricia to slow down, to breathe, to tell her what was wrong. Finally, the words came through clearly enough for Eleanor to understand. Anna was dead, found in her cabin. Something terrible had happened. Eleanor's legs gave out and she collapsed onto her kitchen floor. The phone pressed to her ear as Patricia continued to sob. Eleanor asked how, what happened, was there an accident? Patricia's response destroyed Eleanor's world. Not an accident. Her son. Patricia's son had killed Anna. He had murdered her. The police had evidence. He was in custody. Anna was gone. Eleanor doesn't remember much about the hours immediately following that phone call. She knows she called some friends who came to be with her. She knows she booked a flight to Florida to meet Patricia when the ship docked. She knows she cried until she had no tears left, then cried more. But most of those early hours are a blur of shock and horror and disbelief. How could Anna be dead? How could someone have killed her? How could that someone be her own half-brother? Someone she lived with? Someone who was supposed to be family? The details emerged gradually over the following days and weeks as the investigation unfolded. Eleanor learned that Anna had been found by her mother on the morning of March 22nd, hidden under the bed in her cabin, wrapped in blankets and concealed beneath life jackets. She had been attacked the previous evening while alone in her room. The person responsible was her half-brother, who had followed her to the cabin shortly after she left dinner feeling unwell. As investigators pieced together what happened, Eleanor learned facts that made her physically ill. Anna had left the family dinner at approximately 8:10 p.m. on March 21st, complaining of a headache and nausea. She went back to her cabin alone to lie down and rest. Security footage showed her entering the elevator at 8:13 p.m., heading to deck 8 where her cabin was located. She looked tired, uncomfortable, with one hand pressed to her forehead. That was the last time anyone except her killer saw Anna alive. Just minutes after Anna left the dining room, her half-brother also left the table, claiming he was going to the ship's arcade, but security footage told a different story. Instead of going to the arcade on deck 5, he was captured on camera heading toward the stairwell that led up to deck 8, where Anna's cabin was located. He disappeared from all security cameras for approximately 90 minutes. During that time window, investigators believe he went to Anna's cabin, attacked her, killed her, and attempted to conceal the crime. At approximately 9:38 p.m., security cameras captured him emerging from the corridor where Anna's cabin was located. He was wearing a dark hoodie, hands thrust deep into the pockets, head down, walking quickly. 4 minutes later, he appeared at the arcade, where he spent the next hour playing video games as if nothing had happened. As if he hadn't just murdered his half-sister and left her body hidden under a bed 3 decks above. Anna's body was discovered the next morning when Patricia, worried because Anna wasn't answering her phone or responding to knocks on the connecting door between their cabins, used her key card to enter Anna's room. The scene that greeted Patricia would traumatize her forever. The room looked normal at first, neat and undisturbed. But when Patricia looked under the bed, she found her daughter's body, wrapped and concealed, obviously placed there to hide what had happened. Ship security and FBI agents who later processed the scene found critical evidence. The murder weapon, a folding knife, was recovered from the bathroom trash can. The knife had been wiped clean, but forensic testing found blood in the hinge mechanism that matched Anna's DNA. A partial fingerprint on the knife handle matched Anna's half-brother. DNA evidence recovered from beneath Anna's fingernails also matched him, indicating that Anna had fought back, had scratched her attacker, had tried desperately to defend herself and survive. Blood spatter analysis of the cabin revealed that Anna had been standing near the bed when she was attacked. The arterial spray pattern indicated a severe injury to her neck, specifically her carotid artery, which caused rapid blood loss and death within minutes. The medical examiner determined that Anna died sometime between 8:30 and 10:30 p.m. on March 21st, right in the middle of the time window when her half-brother was unaccounted for by any witnesses or security cameras. But perhaps the most chilling evidence came from digital forensics. When FBI agents examined the laptop computer belonging to Anna's half-brother, they found internet search history from the weeks before the cruise. Searches for how to get away with murder, crimes committed in international waters. Can police track you on a cruise ship murders, and related terms? These searches proved premeditation. This wasn't a spontaneous act of rage. This was planned, researched, calculated. He had thought about killing Anna, had researched how to do it and avoid detection, had brought a weapon onto the ship, and had executed his plan when the opportunity arose. Learning these details was excruciating for Eleanor. Every new piece of information was another blow, another horror to process. To know that Anna had been afraid, that she had tried to fight back, that her final moments were filled with terror and pain, was almost unbearable. To know that this had been planned, that her half-brother had thought about it and researched it, and decided to go through with it, made it even worse. This wasn't an accident or a moment of lost control. This was murder, plain and simple. Eleanor also learned about Anna's journal, recovered from her cabin by investigators. The journal contained entries from the months before the cruise, documenting Anna's growing fear of her half-brother. She wrote about his boundary violations, his obsessive behavior, his constant surveillance. She wrote about feeling trapped and suffocated, about wanting to escape to college where she would finally be free of him. The final entry, written on the morning of the day she died, said, "One more week. I just have to survive one more week. Then I go to college orientation and I'll finally be free of him. Just one more week. I can do this. I have to do this. Please God, let me make it through this week." Anna didn't make it through that week. Just hours after writing those words, she was dead. Reading those journal entries, knowing that Anna had literally prayed to survive the cruise, knowing that she had been so close to escaping to college where she would have been safe, broke Eleanor's heart in ways she didn't know were possible. Anna had known she was in danger. She had written about it. She had told people, and no one had done enough to protect her. The investigation moved quickly. Anna's half-brother was charged with first-degree murder in U.S. federal court. Because the crime occurred in international waters aboard a ship operated by an American company with American victims, federal jurisdiction applied. Because he was a minor at the time of the offense, the case initially went to juvenile court. But prosecutors filed a motion to transfer him to adult court, arguing that the severity of the crime and the clear evidence of premeditation warranted adult prosecution. Eleanor attended the transfer hearing in August 2024. She listened as psychologists testified about the defendant's troubled childhood, his mental health issues, his diagnoses of various behavioral and emotional disorders. The defense argued that he should remain in juvenile court where rehabilitation would be the focus. But the prosecution presented the evidence of planning, the internet searches, the deliberate concealment of the crime, the lack of remorse. The judge ruled that the case would proceed in adult court, meaning the defendant could face life in prison if convicted. The trial began in October 2024 and lasted 3 weeks. Eleanor attended every single day, determined to be there for Anna since she couldn't protect her when it mattered. She sat in the courtroom and listened to testimony that broke her heart repeatedly. She heard from the ship's medical officer about the nature of Anna's injury and how she died. She heard from forensic experts about the blood evidence, the DNA, the fingerprints, the fibers from his clothing found on the blankets used to conceal Anna's body. She heard from Anna's friends who testified about the fear Anna had expressed to them. Jessica Martinez, Anna's best friend, cried throughout her testimony as she described conversations where Anna had confided her discomfort and fear. Michael Torres testified about concerning text messages Anna had shown him. Cruise passengers described witnessing arguments between Anna and her half-brother, the tension that was visible even to strangers. The security footage shown in court was particularly difficult for Eleanor to watch. She saw her granddaughter leaving the dining room that final night, looking tired and unwell, heading back to her cabin alone. She saw the defendant leaving just moments later, heading not to the arcade as he claimed, but toward the stairwell leading to Anna's deck. And she saw the footage from 90 minutes later showing him emerging from the area of Anna's cabin, hands in pockets, walking quickly away from the scene of the crime. Patricia testified as well, and Eleanor watched her daughter relive the horror of finding Anna's body. Patricia described knocking on Anna's door that morning, getting no answer, using her key card to enter the cabin. She described the moment she looked under the bed and saw the blankets and life jackets and realized her daughter was hidden there. Her screams had brought security running. Eleanor watched Patricia break down on the witness stand, sobbing as she recounted the worst moment of her life. Perhaps the most powerful evidence presented at trial was Anna's journal. Portions were read aloud in court, Anna's own words testifying to her fear, even though Anna herself could no longer speak. When the prosecutor read the final entry, "Please God, let me make it through this week," written just hours before Anna was killed, several jurors cried openly. The courtroom was silent except for the sound of people weeping. Eleanor felt as if her heart was being ripped out of her chest all over again. The defense tried to argue that even if the defendant had killed Anna, it wasn't premeditated murder, but rather a crime of passion that should be classified as manslaughter. They presented psychiatric experts who testified about his mental health issues, his difficulty regulating emotions, his troubled childhood. But the prosecution countered with the internet searches proving he had been researching murder for weeks. The fact that he brought a weapon onto the ship, the calculated timing of the attack, and the deliberate concealment of Anna's body. All of these facts demonstrated planning and intent, not uncontrolled rage. After 2 days of deliberation, on November 1st, 2024, the jury returned with their verdict: guilty of first-degree murder. Eleanor felt a complex rush of emotions, relief that justice had been served and that the evidence had been believed, grief that nothing could bring Anna back, that no verdict could undo what had been done, and satisfaction that the person who destroyed her granddaughter's life would face consequences for his actions. The sentencing hearing in December 2024 gave Eleanor an opportunity to speak directly to the court about Anna and the impact of her death. Eleanor stood at the podium and spoke for nearly 15 minutes. She described Anna's childhood, her dreams, her passion for protecting the ocean and its creatures. She talked about the phone calls they shared every week, about holidays spent together, about the special bond between grandmother and granddaughter. She described the college fund she had been contributing to since Anna was born, money that was supposed to help Anna achieve her dreams but would now go toward a scholarship in her name. Eleanor spoke about the hole Anna's death had left in her life. She would never see Anna graduate from college, never watch her become the marine biologist she dreamed of being, never see her get married, have children, live the full life she deserved. All of those possibilities were stolen. An entire lifetime of potential ended at 18. Eleanor told the court that no sentence could ever be sufficient, but she asked for the maximum penalty allowed by law as recognition of the severity of what had been taken. Judge Catherine Morrison sentenced the defendant to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The judge stated that the premeditation, the brutality, the betrayal of family trust, and the complete lack of genuine remorse warranted this harshest sentence. He would spend the rest of his life in federal prison with no chance of release. Eleanor felt this was appropriate. While no punishment could equal what was taken from Anna, at least he would never have the opportunity to harm anyone else. In the months since the trial concluded, Eleanor has struggled to find any kind of peace or normalcy in her life. She still lives in the same house in Jacksonville, still surrounded by photographs of Anna at every age. But the house feels emptier now. The phone doesn't ring with Anna's weekly calls. The holidays that Anna used to spend with her are painful reminders of absence, rather than joyful gatherings. Eleanor's entire life has been reshaped by grief. Eleanor's physical health has suffered significantly since Anna's death. She has lost over 30 pounds, struggles with chronic insomnia, and has been diagnosed with a heart condition that her doctors believe was triggered or worsened by the extreme stress and grief. There were many days, especially in the first months after Anna's death, when Eleanor wasn't sure she wanted to continue living. The pain was so overwhelming, the loss so complete, that simply existing felt unbearable. Some mornings she would wake up and momentarily forget that Anna was gone, then remember and feel the grief crash over her all over again. But Eleanor made it through those darkest days with support from friends, her faith community, and professional therapy. She found a grief counselor who specialized in helping people who had lost family members to violence, and that support was crucial to her survival. She also found purpose in advocacy work, channeling her grief into efforts to prevent other families from experiencing similar tragedies. If she could save even one life by speaking about what happened to Anna, then perhaps some small meaning could come from this senseless loss. Eleanor has become a vocal advocate for taking family violence seriously and listening when young people express fear. She speaks at schools, community organizations, and conferences about recognizing warning signs of dangerous family dynamics. She talks openly about the signs that were present in Anna's situation that were minimized or ignored. the boundary violations, the obsessive-possessive behavior, the following and surveillance, the escalating aggression, the explicit expressions of fear from Anna herself. Eleanor emphasizes in her presentations that these warning signs should never be dismissed as typical sibling conflict or teenage drama. Sometimes, she argues, they represent genuine danger, and early intervention can save lives. She wishes someone had intervened in Anna's situation. She wishes she had intervened more forcefully herself. But since she can't change the past, she's determined to use Anna's story to help others recognize danger before it's too late. Through her advocacy work, Eleanor has connected with other families who have experienced similar tragedies. She's learned that Anna's case, while horrific, is not unique. Many families struggle with dangerous dynamics between siblings or other family members, and these situations are often minimized or hidden until tragedy occurs. Sibling abuse, Eleanor has learned, is significantly underreported and undertreated. People assume that siblings fight and that conflict is normal. But there's a crucial difference between normal sibling rivalry and dangerous obsession, and society needs to get better at recognizing where that line is and intervening appropriately. Eleanor also advocates for better mental health resources and more effective intervention for troubled youth who display warning signs of dangerous behavior. While she firmly believes that Anna's killer made choices and bears full responsibility for those choices, she also recognizes that earlier intervention might have changed the trajectory. The warning signs were present when he was younger, the violence he witnessed as a small child, the behavioral problems that emerged at school, the concerning fixation on Anna that multiple adults documented. If the system had responded more effectively, if intensive treatment had been mandated and enforced, if protective measures had been put in place to separate him from Anna, the outcome might have been different. Eleanor has also become involved in advocating for cruise industry reforms. The changes implemented after Anna's case provide some comfort. Enhanced security camera coverage in all corridors, better weapons screening during embarkation, improved training for crew members to recognize concerning passenger behavior, clearer protocols for reporting and investigating crimes at sea. These measures might prevent future tragedies. Eleanor was invited to testify at congressional hearings about cruise ship safety in 2025, and she spoke powerfully about the need for these reforms and for clearer legal frameworks governing crimes in international waters. The relationship between Eleanor and her daughter Patricia has been complicated since Anna's death. Both women are grieving, but their grief takes different forms and sometimes conflicts. Patricia lost her daughter, but also her son, who is now in prison for life. Patricia carries enormous guilt about not protecting Anna, about dismissing Anna's concerns, about allowing the situation to escalate. Eleanor, while sympathetic to her daughter's pain, also feels some resentment toward Patricia for not listening when Anna expressed fear, for not taking action that might have saved Anna's life. They've been working on rebuilding their relationship through family therapy, but it's a slow and painful process. Some days they can support each other in their shared grief. Other days the pain and blame are too much and they need distance. Eleanor tries to remember that Patricia is also a victim in this situation, that she's lost both of her children in different ways, that she will carry this guilt and grief for the rest of her life. But Eleanor also can't help thinking that if Patricia had listened, if she had acted, Anna might still be alive. Eleanor maintains close connections with Anna's friends, particularly Jessica Martinez and Michael Torres. They share memories and photographs, keeping Anna's presence alive in their conversations. Jessica recently graduated from high school and is attending college, something that's bittersweet for Eleanor because Anna should be in her second year of college now. When Jessica visits Eleanor during school breaks, they look through old photos and talk about Anna, remembering funny stories and cherished moments. These connections help Eleanor feel less alone in her grief. The scholarship fund established in Anna's name at the University of Miami has become a source of comfort and meaning for Eleanor. Each year, a student pursuing marine biology receives financial support to chase the same dreams Anna had. The first recipient was selected in fall 2024, a young woman from South Florida who, like Anna, was passionate about coral reef conservation. Eleanor met the scholarship recipient at an awards ceremony, and seeing this young woman's excitement about her studies and her future was both painful and healing. Anna's dream of protecting the ocean would continue through others, even though Anna herself couldn't fulfill it. Eleanor has also been involved with the Anna Kepner Foundation for Sibling Safety, established by Patricia with Eleanor's support and input. The foundation provides educational resources about recognizing and responding to dangerous sibling dynamics. They've created materials for parents, teachers, counselors, and healthcare providers about warning signs to watch for. They connect families dealing with these issues to therapists who specialize in family violence. And they advocate for policy changes to better protect vulnerable children, even when the threat comes from within their own family. One of the Foundation's major initiatives is pushing for better information sharing between schools, mental health providers, and child protective services. In Anna's case, multiple adults and institutions knew pieces of the puzzle. The school knew about behavioral problems and a weapons violation. Therapists knew about concerning family dynamics. Patricia had filed reports with counselors about her son's behavior toward Anna. But this information wasn't effectively shared or coordinated, and no comprehensive intervention occurred. The Foundation advocates for better systems to identify patterns and intervene before tragedy occurs. Eleanor keeps Anna's bedroom in her Jacksonville home exactly as it was the last time Anna stayed there, just a few weeks before the cruise. Anna's books about marine biology line the shelves. Her collection of seashells from various beaches is displayed on the dresser. A poster showing different species of whales hangs on the wall. Anna's favorite stuffed animal, a plush sea turtle she'd had since childhood, sits on the bed. Eleanor sometimes goes into that room when she's missing Anna particularly intensely, surrounding herself with reminders of her granddaughter's presence and personality. On Anna's 19th birthday, which would have been August 12, 2024, Eleanor organized a small memorial gathering at the beach. About 50 people attended, including Anna's friends, former teachers, and community members who had followed the case. They shared memories of Anna, talked about her kindness and her dreams, and released biodegradable balloons with messages written on them. Eleanor had written on her balloon, "To my darling Anna, you were supposed to be starting your second year of college this month. I miss you every single day. I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you. I love you forever." Eleanor has started writing a book about Anna's life and death, hoping that telling the full story might help other families recognize danger signs and take action. The book will include Anna's story from birth through her death, the investigation and trial, and Eleanor's journey through grief and toward advocacy. She hopes that reading Anna's story in depth, understanding the progression of warning signs and missed opportunities, might empower others to intervene when they see similar patterns. The book is tentatively titled Survive, Anna Kepner's Story and a Grandmother's Mission, reflecting Anna's final journal entry and Eleanor's determination to create meaning from tragedy. Eleanor has also started a blog where she writes regularly about grief, advocacy, and Anna's memory. The blog has attracted readers from around the world, many of whom have experienced similar losses or who are worried about dangerous family situations. Eleanor tries to respond to as many comments and messages as possible, offering support and guidance to those who reach out. Some messages are from teenagers who read about Anna's case and felt empowered to speak up about their own fears. Eleanor always responds to these messages quickly, urging them to keep speaking up, to tell trusted adults, to not give up until someone helps them. One recurring theme in Eleanor's advocacy is the importance of believing young people when they express fear. Anna told people she was scared. She wrote about it in her journal. She confided in her friends and her grandmother. But adults in positions of authority either didn't hear her or didn't take her concerns seriously enough to intervene effectively. Eleanor emphasizes in her speaking engagements that when a young person says they're afraid of a family member, that statement should be treated as a potential emergency, not dismissed as drama or exaggeration. Eleanor also talks about the particular challenges of recognizing danger when it comes from someone within the family. "We are conditioned to think of family as safe," she explains. "We assume that family members love each other and wouldn't hurt each other. But statistics show that a significant percentage of violent crimes occur between family members. We need to overcome our resistance to believing that danger can come from within the family and be willing to take protective action, even when it feels uncomfortable or creates family conflict." The legal complexities of Anna's case, particularly the jurisdictional issues related to crimes on cruise ships in international waters, have also become an area of focus for Eleanor's advocacy. She's learned that the patchwork of maritime laws and international treaties creates significant challenges for investigating and prosecuting crimes at sea. In Anna's case, it took weeks of legal negotiations to establish that U.S. federal court had jurisdiction. Eleanor advocates for clearer international agreements and standardized protocols to ensure that crimes on cruise ships are properly investigated and prosecuted regardless of where they occur. Eleanor has met with legislators and congressional staffers to discuss the Cruise Ship Safety and Security Act that was introduced in 2025, partly in response to Anna's case. The proposed legislation would mandate minimum security standards for cruise ships operating from U.S. ports, require immediate reporting of all crimes to the FBI, create a public database of crimes on cruise ships, and establish clearer jurisdictional frameworks. Eleanor testified at a congressional hearing in support of this legislation, sharing Anna's story and arguing that these reforms are necessary to protect passengers and ensure accountability. The cruise line's response to Anna's death has been a source of frustration for Eleanor. While Carnival implemented some security improvements after the case, Eleanor feels they have not been sufficiently accountable for the security gaps that existed at the time. The fact that a weapon made it onto the ship, that corridor camera coverage had gaps, that concerning behavior wasn't reported or acted upon, all of these represent failures that contributed to an environment where Anna's murder could occur. Eleanor has considered pursuing a civil lawsuit against the cruise line, but hasn't made a final decision yet. Eleanor has also grappled with complicated feelings about Anna's killer and his incarceration. She attended the trial, heard all the evidence, and believes the life sentence without parole was appropriate. But she doesn't spend much time thinking about him or what happens to him in prison. Her energy is focused on Anna's memory and on prevention efforts. When people ask if she feels any sympathy for him given his difficult childhood and young age, Eleanor is honest. Whatever he experienced doesn't excuse what he did to Anna. He made choices. He planned this. He researched how to get away with murder and then tried to do it. Those choices destroyed my granddaughter and my family. Eleanor has no interest in hearing from him, receiving any apology he might offer, or engaging in any kind of reconciliation or forgiveness process. Some people have suggested that forgiveness might help Eleanor heal, but she rejects this notion. "I don't need to forgive him to heal," she says. "I need to honor Anna's memory, work to prevent similar tragedies, and find ways to live with this enormous loss. Forgiveness is not part of my healing journey, and that's okay." The question of whether Anna's death could have been prevented haunts Eleanor constantly. She reviews the timeline repeatedly, identifying moments where different choices or actions might have changed the outcome. If she had insisted Anna come stay with her when Anna expressed fear in February, if she had called Child Protective Services herself to report concerns, if she had been more forceful with Patricia about the danger, if the school had taken stronger action after the weapons violation and the aggressive incident, if Anna had been believed and protected when she said she was scared, any of these interventions might have saved Anna's life. But Eleanor is learning, slowly and painfully, that she cannot carry the full weight of responsibility for Anna's death. The person responsible is the one who chose to commit murder. While Eleanor wishes she had done more, while she will always carry some regret about not intervening more aggressively, she's working in therapy to recognize that she did not kill Anna. She tried to support Anna within the boundaries she understood at the time. She believed that Anna would be safe until college, that nothing truly terrible would happen during one cruise, that surely no one would actually kill their own sister. These beliefs were wrong, but they were not unreasonable given what Eleanor knew at the time. Eleanor thinks often about Anna's final hours. What was she thinking as she walked back to her cabin that night, not feeling well, just wanting to rest? Did she have any sense that her life was in danger? When her half-brother arrived at her cabin, was she immediately afraid, or did she think it was a normal interaction at first? Did she have time to understand what was happening to her? How much pain did she experience? These questions torment Eleanor because she knows she'll never have answers. Anna's final moments belong only to Anna and to her killer, and Anna can never share her experience. Eleanor finds some comfort in knowing that Anna was found relatively quickly and that her killer was immediately identified and brought to justice. Some families wait years for answers about what happened to their loved ones. Some never get answers at all. The evidence in Anna's case was overwhelming, the investigation thorough, and the prosecution successful. Anna's killer will spend his life in prison. While this doesn't bring Anna back, it does mean that justice was served and that he cannot harm anyone else. Looking toward the future, Eleanor knows that her life will never return to what it was before Anna's death. That life is gone forever, just as Anna is gone forever. But Eleanor is learning to build a new life, one shaped by loss but not defined entirely by it. She has her advocacy work, which gives her purpose. She has her connections with Anna's friends and with other families who have experienced similar tragedies, which help her feel less alone. She has her faith community, which provides spiritual support, and she has her memories of Anna, 18 years of love and joy and connection that death cannot erase. Eleanor's message to anyone listening to Anna's story is multifaceted. To young people, she says, speak up if you're afraid. Tell multiple people until someone helps you. Your safety matters more than keeping peace or avoiding conflict. To parents and grandparents, she says, listen when young people express fear. Take their concerns seriously. Don't dismiss warning signs as normal conflict or teenage drama. Protect them, even if it causes family disruption. To society, she says, we need better systems for identifying and intervening in dangerous family situations. We need to overcome our resistance to believing that danger can come from within families. We need to act before tragedy occurs, not just respond after it's too late. Anna Kepner should be starting her second year at the University of Miami right now. She should be taking advanced marine biology courses, maybe doing research on coral reef conservation, working toward her dream of protecting the ocean she loved so much. She should be making friends, discovering her independence, becoming the person she was meant to be. Instead, her life ended at 18 in a cruise ship cabin at the hands of someone she should have been able to trust. And Eleanor Mitchell, who loved Anna with all her heart, is left to carry on, to honor Anna's memory, and to work toward a world where other grandmothers don't have to bury their grandchildren. If this case has impacted you, please subscribe to True Crime Vault for more investigations that honor victims and seek justice. Hit that like button and share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. Have you or someone you know experienced concerning family dynamics? What warning signs do you think are most important to recognize? How can we as a society do better at protecting vulnerable young people? Share your perspective, but please be respectful given the sensitivity of this topic. And remember, these aren't just stories for entertainment. These are real families, real grief, real people trying to survive unimaginable loss. Eleanor Mitchell's courage in speaking publicly about Anna's death is a gift to all of us. It's a chance to learn from this tragedy, to recognize warning signs in our own lives and communities, and hopefully to prevent future tragedies. Anna deserved so much better than the short life she got. The least we can do is remember her story, honor her memory, and commit to doing better. Rest in peace, Anna Kepner. Your grandmother's love for you shines through every word she speaks about you. Your passion for protecting the ocean lives on through the scholarship in your name and through everyone who was inspired by your story. You are not forgotten. You never will be. And your death, while senseless and heartbreaking, has sparked conversations and changes that might save other lives. That's not enough. It will never be enough. But it's something. Thank you for watching this difficult but important story. Please take care of yourselves, especially if this case has brought up difficult emotions or memories. If you're struggling with family violence or know someone who is, please reach out for help. Contact local domestic violence resources, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline, talk to a trusted adult or counselor. You deserve safety and support. Until next time, this is True Crime Vault, bringing you the voices that deserve to be heard and the stories that demand we do better. Thank you for being here, for listening to Anna's story, and for caring about these important issues.